Hi, this is Bruce Collins from the channel Bruce Collins Reacts and Stuff. And I also have another channel. I'm a former AM radio host, and my program, The Bruce Collins Show, I've put it exclusively on YouTube. So if you go find the channel The Bruce Collins Show, if you would like and subscribe there, I would really appreciate it. We have some great guests coming up, so I think you'll find it interesting. And we have a lot of classic programs from years past when we were on AM radio that are uploaded there. Now, I don't know if you've heard of this gentleman. His name is Art Bell. To me, he's a legend in radio. That's his picture right there, by the way. And he passed away on my birthday in 2018. Sorry. And he was a great radio host. Before him, the king of late night radio was actually Larry King. Most people, if they know him, know about his CNN program. But Larry King back in the 80s ruled the late night world. And then Art Bell came around in the 90s, and he had a program that was very different. It didn't focus on politics or stories. Larry King, I remember, had a lot of stories about his past. And Art Bell focused on a lot of weird stuff like UFOs, Bible prophecy, paranormal, Bigfoot, anything you could think of. Even the kitchen sink he would throw in there. And a lot of times he would have programs where just callers would call in. It was called Open Lines. But I loved his show, and I thought he was very talented. In fact, when I first started podcasting, I was around right at the beginning of podcasting. I didn't even know what podcasting was, and I was streaming live on the internet before I became an AM radio host. And so my first idea of doing radio or streaming was to be like Art Bell. But I found out we all have our own DNA. We're all genuine in ourselves. We're unique from others. So I found out I could never be Art Bell, but that's okay. I'll just be myself. And so everyone else should be themselves, of course. But Art Bell had a distinct personality, a great voice for radio. I think part of that was smoking cigarettes for many years. But his program could never be duplicated. Even today, the program Coast to Coast AM goes on, but none of the hosts capture what Art Bell could early on. But I had never heard of a video where Art Bell talked about his views of his programming. In other words, did he believe all of these guests? Because when he did it live, he generally took the side of the guest. He would push back sometimes when the theories got way out there and he knew probably the audience couldn't accept it. But for the most part, he was affirming with his guests. He led them through this path where they were able to talk about their research or their opinions and ideas. And he was very good at that. But again, if it got too crazy, he would push back. So people kind of trusted him because they knew he wouldn't go over a certain line. So I never knew how he felt about his guests and about the program Coast to Coast until I came across this video on YouTube. And the YouTube channel is Josh Lowe, Lowe, Josh Lowe. And he has a recording of Art Bell on the air talking about his program. So let's give this a listen. Okay, here we go. This is Art Bell.
Look, some of what I put on the air is BS. You know, who are we kidding? Not all of it is true, and I appreciate support. It's not all true. What I put on is strange, and it's different, and it's chancy, and it's weird, or it's mainstream. A lot of times I'll go that way too, but it's out there on the edge. Now, a lot of it is true, and a lot of it is stuff you don't hear in the mainstream media, but a lot of it's probably BS too. I don't know. I try and stay out on the edge and let you hear things that you don't hear elsewhere. That's the magic to the program, I believe.
Okay, so that's Art Bell's take on his program, which I found fascinating. And apparently he said this on air. It's just many of us have not heard that. I myself, as a radio host, I had to balance what I thought was true and what wasn't. And do I allow this person on the air if I don't agree with their points of view or I think they're making something up? It's a very difficult balance. I lost respect for some of the other hosts that I knew at that time because they were allowing more sensationalistic people on their show than I would. And my show wasn't strictly, UFO or Bigfoot. In fact, I had a lot of mainstream guests. But occasionally I would allow someone who had research into some of these ideas come on, and quite a bit. And but I would see other guests that would talk to people who you knew that they were just making something up, and it really kind of bothered me, which I shouldn't have let it because part of that was probably a competitive spirit too. So but I felt like in my own programming, even today, that you should strike a balance and try to be as have as much integrity as possible. What do you guys think of Art Bell? What do you think of his program? And what do you think of the legacy that he left for other broadcasters is? Comment below. And I want to thank you for joining us on this video at Bruce Collins Reacts and Stuff. And also, try out my other YouTube channel, The Bruce Collins Show. Please like and subscribe both of these channels, and I will owe you a debt of thanks. In the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Take care.